Kocher.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Where's this little girl that will come up to me and say, I'm bored?
That's me.
As announced. Are you going to say that? Very good. Little Miss Sweetie Pie. Well, I hope I'm going to be in time. I have my timer. Yes, I'm very happy to be here as well. Thank you for sticking out to the end. I will talk to you about the project that we have just finished in May. So actually, when I was writing the abstract, we were just about to finish the game. So this is brand new, and the insights are brand new as well. The project we did in a core team of 2 people, me and Stefan Schmidlin, who's actually a game design master student who is taking a year off to work with his company, Waku Games, and he was involved in this project, and he's in Brazil right now, showing off another game. So yes, I'm from Zurich University of the Arts. As you might know, we have a bachelor and master education in game design. We have been doing R&D projects in the past 10 years in the area of serious game, mainly in those 3 areas. So for example, the area of rehab or neuroscience, we did the Gabarello game, which is a games for a walking robot, or walking gait training for children who had been involved in accidents. We are also involved in designing exergames. The ones of you who have been yesterday might remember Plunder Planet, this exercise game from Anna Martin. And we're also involved in intercultural approaches to gamification and serious games, which Stair belongs to. So first, I would like to show you a short trailer on Stair. It's okay. So the ones of you who didn't catch it, this is a game about stairs. It actually is connected to the Hong Kong Stairs Archive project, and Gordon before asked me if that project is real. Yes, it does exist. There are a bunch of people working on the typology and research of stairs in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is built partly on a hill, and in a very dense area there are over 3,000 stairs that are pretty old. In quite bad shape, some of them have bad handrails, which are really needed by the elderly population living there. So this university-based project is trying to cover and gather data about stairs. I met the research manager last year by chance, and she was complaining how hard it is to gather data and also to make this an exciting project. And I very naively and enthusiastically thought, yeah, we can make a game for you. So I went back to the Zurich University of the Arts and gathered 15K, which is not as much as we might have needed, but we thought, okay, we do something with this money. We were wondering, first we thought we'd go purely analog, and then we decided to make a little something, maybe with badges or a little motivational aspect, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. So actually it is now a location-based urban game. And we had faced quite some challenges in the design process I would like to share with you. One is the typical challenge, serious versus game. Serious expectations from the project cooperating side was to gather some data on those 3,336 stairs. We also hoped to raise awareness about stair culture, basically, and also to accompany or be the leading force kind of for an exhibition that took place in Hong Kong in May. So there was an exhibition on art, and there were 360-degree movies about performances on stairs. Some of the stairs in Hong Kong are quite exciting. There are a lot of art happenings on them, and they have very different typology. There's like 10 different types of stairs, so there's quite a big research about it. So there was the hope from the cooperating partner, this Hong Kong Stairs archive, that we could contribute somehow to that task. And then more for us, for game design view, was we had other ideas or expectations. For example, motivational design is something that we always care about, like how can we motivate and engage players to stay with the game, to come back to it, to engage with it, and have a great experience. Of course, if you talk to anyone about playing on stairs or games on stairs, everybody's like, what? Really? Also, stairs are, they might be a little dangerous if you run on them. They are a place of passage through or travel, or anyways not a place that is usually connected with stairs, unless you maybe for children, if you play Schere, Papier. I don't know what that is in English. Oh yeah, rock, paper, scissors. That's the first game that actually comes to mind when thinking about playing analog stair games. Then we were hoping to find some interesting game mechanics, also to get motivational factor in storytelling that would add to the lust on playing on stairs. Also, I have been exploring urban games in Hong Kong for the last 1 or 2 years. There is actually basically no location-based culture except for Pokemon Go. That was a wave that went over Hong Kong. Before and after, there's hardly anyone running around with a mobile phone and trying to do some treasure hunts. People just go to work or go to the movies or just have other expectations of their leisure time. So that was also very interesting to conduct some experiments. So these are the macro mechanics that we came up with. So it was an OpenStreetMap game. We had, out of some reason, we had to map all the location of the stairs from the beginning on the phone, on the screen, because the stairs are so close to each other. If you would have made levels and say, okay, we're just displaying 20 or 100 stairs in the first week, then nobody would know, is this stair or that stair, because also the accuracy of data representation was also not very great. So that was one thing, to discover the stairs and do some activities on them, which I will show in a second. And then there was a collective goal to research all 3,000 plus stairs together and fill the dragon. That was kind of our level system that was connected with the story that was explained in the trailer shortly. So we came up with this story about the protective dragon of Hong Kong that got slain a few hundred or a few thousand years ago, and its body pieces rained down on Hong Kong and became stairs. And now we want to reactivate those stairs and set the dragon free. Hong Kong people kind of like this idea a lot, so that worked as a motivational factor. Then what you actually had to do on each stair, if you go to a stair, you click on the stair icon. You would be a researcher and really punch in the number of steps, something that I never really felt, I thought that was really a boring task myself, but in playtesting, a lot of people really liked it. They went up and down 100 stairs and were really happy to punch in the exact number. Of course, that's not a hardcore data that you can rely on. But anyways, we did it anyways. You could vote on handrails. You could decide on which type of stairs it is. Some extra that we did just for gamey reasons was that you could, if you discover a stair first, so a previously undiscovered stair, you check in and then you can name the stair. And I thought that was kind of neat because you could kind of occupy a place in Hong Kong where there is no public space anymore, because everything, all property belongs to some companies or some institutions, and people quite like that reason, add-on. You could also take pictures or write short stories. So that was something that might contribute to research, but also should contribute to a nice engagement. So as I said, the goal was a collective goal to fulfill this dragon and set him free, but also the individual goal, be the best stair master. You collect stair dragon dust, and there's a leaderboard that you can compete on. In that week of the exhibition in May, we started the game at the beginning of the exhibition, and we also did a gamers party to generate more interest, and we planned to make a big celebration, but then there were not so many people playing it, so it was not really that big of a prize event. But back to the challenges. So we mostly designed it remotely from Switzerland for Hong Kong, which of course is an experiment. We went in February to do some playtesting. We were shocked how unprecise the GPS in Hong Kong is. Of course, you could expect it, but at some point it was 300 meters off. And the software engineer just practically fainted. And then he went back and did some magic. So at the end it was 10 meters precise, which was pretty good. Also being in a different time zone revealed some bugs in the software. Was hard with communication because the dude who managed the server also actually worked in Sydney, and then there were some people in Hong Kong. So we in Switzerland were quite happy. We could always Skype around lunchtime, and other people have to stay up late or get up really early. Yeah. And then playtesting issues, we mapped the stairs onto the old town in Zurich and playtested it there, but of course the stairs were farther spread, the buildings were not so high. You had a different situation than when we were playtesting it in Hong Kong. I already mentioned it, accuracy of data and player location revealed quite some sources of error. One was that the data we got from the Hong Kong Research Archive was that the mapping formula didn't quite work with our map system, so the coordination systems were calculated on a flat, Hong Kong as a flat surface, and then the formula when mapping it on a curved surface didn't quite add up always, so sometimes you didn't know which stair you were actually doing the research for. Sometimes you were like, oh, this is this stair, you fill in the data, and then you actually encountered the stair again afterwards. So, and sometimes the location of the player was not correct. So that was a little bit wobbly, and depending on the phones, it worked better or not. So it was browser-based, I have to say, so because we wanted to be able to work until the very end. We had about 5 months development time, so we couldn't really afford having it finished a month before and doing an app. Budget-wise, am I doing on time budget?
Time budget is running low.
Running low? Okay, good. I'm gonna. Yeah, trade-offs budget-wise, I already mentioned it. 15,000 are not enough. Pokemon Go used 30 million. But of course it was a little different. Also marketing, hard to market a game from another country across the universe. Marketing in Hong Kong is super different. They also tried our best, people doing their exhibition, but there is not really an urban game community. Also the participation is voluntary, made it really hard to compete. One more slide, my battery is also going out.
Okay, before we lose your projection.
Yeah. Good. I'm bored. You have to say I'm bored.
No.
I will not start.
I would never dare to.
Oh,
but
this is the last slide. We went analog as well and did some research projects, and that was really fun. Come to our Games Festival in Zurich in November.
Thank you very much, Mela.
And you can look at the take-home message while you ask questions.
I keep my questions for later. Mm-hmm. I would immediately like to invite the audience for maximum 2 questions. We can keep your questions also for the round table because we're running short on time. Thanks.
Thank you so much for sharing. It looks like a really great project. I wanted to ask you, maybe it's a little bit different in Hong Kong, but I think one of the common potential issues with these sorts of urban games is the possibility of leading people into unsafe areas, especially when they're also preoccupied on their phone. Is that something that you have to take into consideration? You try to deal with in any way, et cetera, et cetera?
Definitely. I mean, we took it into consideration for sure at the analog parts where we did analog games, we made a rule sheet and said nothing that involves running or anything. But with this mobile game, it involved actually just on the side, clicking on the icon, and then the action stands on the side. You didn't have to move or anything, but that was a big issue. Yeah.
What I meant more was like unsafe neighborhoods, like violent crime.
Those 3,000 stairs were in a very dense area, which is very touristy, very corporate. So yeah, it was quite like 3 square kilometers. So that was not an issue there. Yeah.
And Valérie, last question en français?
Oh, I have to get my headsets then.
I can translate it.
Thanks, yeah, sorry.
I'm going to try in English.
Thanks.
So sorry if it's not very clear. My question is about the en fait, si vous avez une photo qui ne concerne pas du tout les escaliers d'une ville, mais que c'est des gens qui prennent des photos et qui rajoutent de mauvaises informations au jeu, parce que ça s'est vu avec Pokémon Go, comme vous l'avez cité. Il y a beaucoup de choses qui étaient censées être des œuvres d'art qui sont plus du tout des œuvres d'art dans Pokémon Go, donc on n'a plus vraiment cet intérêt de découvrir des endroits qui sont vraiment intéressants. Comment vous allez gérer ces données qui ne seront pas justes par rapport à... Comment vous vérifiez ces données?
So the question was, how did you manage data that has been contributed to the project by people who are misusing or like posting pictures of stairs, but they are not at that position, or posting some other pictures, or like misusage of the system? How did you address that?
The income of pictures were not that great, so we could all do it manually. But we were thinking about that, and when the software engineer opened up the game in Hong Kong to test it, in the first hour he got about, 100 penis and Viagra messages. So we did a Facebook account mandatory login. Yeah, big issue.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Mela.
Thank you.
For your nice talk.
Thank you very much. Oh, sorry.
This is for you.
Oh, I get one too.
You
Thank
get
you.
one too. It's signed.
So much money. Thank you very much.
It's official.
Yes. Kidding.
And last but not least, I would like to invite to the stage Rémi Schafter from the HEPL, the Haute École Pédagogique Lausanne. Oui. And he is going to tell us a little bit more about the video game that he created to teach history to students. Maybe as a teaser to rest, after that we will have a quick roundtable discussion and the ceremony of the awards and the voting process. So please stay here if you want to see the award session. And can I spill the beans? No, I don't know who is going to get it. Can I say who that? Yeah. Actually, 2 students of our master course designed the trophy. So you see we are multiple faces here represented. So Rémi.
Oui.
Yes, t'es prêt?
Oui, c'est tout bon. En espérant que la technique ne nous joue pas un mauvais tour comme avant avec mon ordinateur personnel qui ne s'entendait pas avec le beamer.